Hey there, everybody, and welcome. Today, I am going to be presenting a sample playthrough of at least one round of Yedo, the Deluxe Master Set. And as with the scores of other videos I've created over the past many years, I am going to be doing so using a program that I wrote to play the game. The advantage of my using a program is that it will essentially provide you with a front row seat and let you see everything that's going on close up. But beyond that, the program is going to ensure that no mistakes are made in the course of this presentation. I can easily become forgetful in the course of simultaneously playing and presenting a game, and the software is going to ensure that I don't accidentally forget some rule or skip some important step or forget about what one player can do versus another. For those of you who are not familiar with the game, in Yedo, you are the head of a clan in 17th century Japan in the city of Yedo, the city that's actually going to eventually be named Tokyo. You and your disciples, your operatives, if you will, are intent on carrying out and completing missions at the behest of the Shogun and I guess the Bakufu, the military government. In essence, you're running a Mission Impossible force whose sole goal is to please the powers that be. Now, whether you're committing espionage or a kidnapping or a heist, or well, maybe you're even killing off a rival or a competitor, you're going to stop at nothing. You will even possibly kill the Shogun if it's going to ensure your rightful place of honor and renown. You complete missions in Yedo by assigning your disciples among the 7 different districts in the city. There's the Castle District in the east side of the city, the Gates District in the southeast, the Tavern District in the south, the Harbor District in the southwest. The church happens to be located in the Harbor District, the notorious Red Light District out west, the Market in the northwest, and finally the Temple District in the north, where the priest resides and can bestow a blessing upon you. You not only have to ensure your disciples are in the right place at the right time, but you also have to collect the assets necessary to see a mission through to completion. Now, that might mean having certain weapons on hand. It might mean owning an annex in order to create a storefront for money laundering, maybe, or to provide special training for your disciples, or to host visiting dignitaries or potential targets. Annexes are things like a dojo, or a weapons school, or a sacred garden, or a yashiki mansion where geisha reside. You may actually have to hire a number of geisha as well in the Red Light District who are good at lowering the defenses of your enemies. Or you may simply need the priest's blessing in the Temple District, as I pointed out earlier, in order to complete a particular task. Last but not least, you need to manage your finances, and ultimately the name of the game is to amass prestige. Missions come in 4 degrees of difficulty. Green missions are the easiest, yellow or intermediate, red or difficult, and black missions are the hardest of all. And as I alluded to earlier, there are 5 types of missions: espionage missions, warfare, thefts, kidnapping, and assassinations. The game itself is modularized, and for today's playthrough and tutorial, I'm going to be making use of all 3 of the modules. There's the Specialist module, which introduces custom disciples into the game, each with their own special ability. The Teahouse module, that lets you get the help of a certain character who can provide special benefits to you during a single round of the game. And finally, the Clan Powers module, that provides your clan with one of 6 specific advantages over other clans. So now that you have a general understanding of what the game's all about, let's get underway, and I will provide you with all the additional details you need as we go. For today's game, I've been debating on how best to present it in order to give you a taste of the epic scope of this game. And I'm actually thinking we're going to go for broke today. So we're going to set up for a full 5-player game. And by playing a 5-player game, I think there's, well, we'll leave no stone unturned, hopefully. Clearly, today's game is focused on learning the ins and outs of the game. It's not going to be about playing well. I obviously will be playing each of the 5 players. I will provide you with my stream of consciousness in terms of what I'm thinking about, but by no means am I going to focus on one player over another and try to look for the best possible move. And I want to keep this video moving along, and therefore I'm going to pick something that makes the most sense at the moment and go with it. In addition to the game's mission cards, there are also action cards that can be used to break the rules of the game. There are bonus cards, which can be a source of prestige points at the end of the game. And there are also event cards you can play with that affect all players and introduce positive or negative randomness into the game. To a large degree, the selection of these cards can be tailored to produce the type of game you'd like to play. For mission cards, you should play with a set of the 20 basic green mission cards, add in 1 black Kill the Shogun mission card at random, and then choose 2 other sets. You also choose 3 sets of action cards, and you choose 2 sets of event cards. As far as bonus cards are concerned, you use all 31 of them. But I think for today's demonstration, because I'd like to expose you to as many different types of cards as possible, I'm going to violate the rules of the game, and I'm going to pretty much include every set. Now, each set focuses on a particular aspect of the game. For example, mission cards in the prestige set provide a good source of prestige points. Mission cards in the moneymaker set provide a good source of money, and so forth. As far as action cards are concerned, those cards that you use to break the rules of the game, there are obviously the rule changers. There's a watch patrol in the game that circles the city looking for disciples to arrest, and the watch patrol action cards can affect whether or not your disciples are arrested, and they can even affect how the watch patrol moves throughout the city. That's going to become much more clear when I get to the watch patrol phase later on. There are also hard interaction cards that create lots of spite, lots of take that between players. Actually, I'm thinking, since I'm going to be managing 5 different players, I'm actually going to take that out of the mix here. I think it's just going to tax my brain a little too much. For purposes of event cards, there are the neutral event cards, you know, kind of middle of the road, resources that provide you with different kinds of assets possibly. There are cruel fate event cards that introduce negative effects, closed district event cards that might close down a district in a particular round. There are watch patrol event cards, similar to the watch patrol action cards, and closed location event cards that close individual locations within districts. The Jesuits' bidding set of mission cards and a single event card introduce missions relating to the Catholic Church into the game, and it's certainly possible that that might make an appearance at some point as I play through the game. So with that in mind, let's get going. So it appears that green has randomly been chosen to be the starting player for today's game. Then clockwise around the table, purple will be second, yellow third, and so forth. Now you can see there in the top left corner, there's this turn order track in the very corner, and to the right of it is a bidding track. There is a bidding phase in the game where players hold auctions for different assets. Each player in the game starts with 12 mon, or money, and each player also starts with 1 prestige point. Also, each player is going to draw 1 action card. I will point out right now that if a player ever draws a card, be it a mission card, an action card, or a bonus card, that exceeds his current hand limit, then that player has to immediately discard back down to the hand limit. Now, the hand limit varies by the type of card. For mission cards, that is uncompleted mission cards, your hand limit is 4. For action cards, your hand limit is 3, as denoted right here. And for purple bonus cards, your hand limit is 2. Now, these cards are kept secret from all other players, but everything else in the game is open. If you ever draw, for example, a 5th mission card, or a 4th action card, or a 3rd bonus card, you immediately have to discard back down. Of course, there are exceptions. There might be different places during the game where those limits are changed, but generally speaking, those are the limits you have to abide by. So now we're at the point where we are creating our starting hands of mission cards. We're going to start with a full hand of 4 mission cards, each player that is. And for your first couple games of Yedo, it's suggested that your starting hand of mission cards consist of 3 easy green missions and 1 hard red mission. Now we're going to have green do just that. I'm going to have green draw 3 green missions and 1 yellow mission. And for purple, I'll do the same thing. But let's mix it up for the rest of the players. So for yellow, let's assume that yellow maybe is a bit more conservative. Maybe the yellow player is newer to the game. So yellow is going to choose 3 green missions and a yellow mission, somewhat easier than a red. Blue is going to go with a green mission, 2 yellow missions, and a red mission. And finally, for our red player, 2 greens and 2 yellows. So now that every player has drawn their starting hand of 4 mission cards, in reverse turn order, beginning with the red player, since green is going first, players are going to choose a clan power from among a choice of 2 clan power cards. Now, red has drawn 2 clan power cards at random. The first is the Wealthy, which provides extra money at the start of the game, and the other card is the Generous, which allows you to make use of other players' annexes when determining whether or not you can complete a mission. I'm going to say that the red player is greedy and wants all the money he can get his hands on, so I'm going to have red choose the Wealthy. Now, we're playing an 8-round game today. The rounds are going to basically determine how long you want the game to be. A 6-round game of Yedo is going to run about an hour to maybe an hour and a half. An 8-round game should run about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and an 11-round game, the epic classic Yedo, is closer to 2.5 hours. Now, when you're playing the classic game of Yedo, the 11-round game, it's recommended that you not play with any of the modules. So for today's game, we're playing an 8-round game, but like I said, for today's video, I'm going to present 1 round of the game, and maybe I'll come back and provide a subsequent video with the 2nd round of play or a 3rd round of play to introduce things that I might not have demonstrated in earlier videos. So for now, I'm going to have red choose the Wealthy. That's going to start red off with an additional 14 Mon, bringing him up to 26. So now he's got more than double what every other player has, or starting with. The Generous clan power is then passed to the next player in line, blue, and then blue draws a 2nd card, so they choose between those 2. So blue is choosing between the Seaworthy, which allows you to visit the harbor and convert money into points. Now, you can always visit the harbor to convert money into points, but this gives you a slightly better set of conversion rates. I think for today's game, I'm going to have blue choose the Generous, so blue can make use of other players' annexes when determining if they can complete a mission. And if they do build an annex for themselves, that'll be worth 2 points to them at the end of the game. Yellow is choosing between the Seaworthy and the Wise. The Wise lets you draw 2 extra cards anytime you draw a card from any particular deck, so it gives you more choice. I'll have yellow choose the wise. Purple, purple's choosing between the seaworthy and the tenacious. The tenacious says that anytime you have to pay for something, you pay 1 mon less. Okay, purple likes the sound of that. And then back to our starting player, the green player, the duplicitous indicates that you can start with the third worker, the ninja specialist. Now, this is a worker placement game, and there's nothing like having one more worker than the rest of your opponents to give you an edge. So green is definitely going to jump at that. Now, in reverse turn order, players are going to choose a favor of the Shogun card. This is going to provide them with some sort of an asset at the start of the game, a little bonus. So you can either choose to draw 3 action cards and keep 1, discarding the others to the bottom of the deck. This also provides you with 3 additional mon. You can choose to take 3 mon and draw 3 bonus cards, keeping 1, discarding the other 2 to the bottom of the bonus deck. Similarly, you can take 3 mon, draw 3 weapons from the weapons bag, choose 1 to keep, and discard the other 2 to the weapons discard stack. You can choose just to take an extra 7 mon, or you could choose to take a blessing. Because we're playing with the Teahouse module today, each of these favors has been specifically paired with a character from the Teahouse module. These pairings are always the same, so the action card favor is always paired with Geisha Natsuko, which provides you with a discount when purchasing a weapon at the market up here in the northwest, or when building an annex by visiting the carpenter in the Tavern district in the south. The bonus card favor is paired with the Shogun, who grants you an additional prestige points and could possibly provide you with additional prestige points depending upon what assets you already have in your possession. The weapons favor is paired with the eminent advisor to the Shogun, who allows you at some point to use his ability and draw 3 mission cards from a single deck and keep 1 of them, discarding the other 2 to the bottom of the deck. The extra mon favor is paired with a shopkeeper who lets you draw 3 weapons, keep 1 and place the others to the left of the market. Now that doesn't happen until the event phase, which will occur in a few steps from where we are now. But I'll remind you about the shopkeeper when that happens. Lastly, the blessings favor is paired with a beggar who provides you with 2 mon. And then once per round, in player order, each opponent may give you 2 mon to receive their blessing as well. Anytime you make use of a character's ability, you generally discard it unless stated otherwise on the card. But if you don't use a character's ability in the current round in which you have it, then you have to surrender it and discard it at the beginning of the following round. And when you do, you get a consolation prize. You get a bonus card in return, drawn randomly from the top of the deck. Now, obviously, if you recruit a character in the last round of the game, well, you're never going to have another round to use that character's ability. So in that case, during endgame scoring, certain characters provide you with endgame scoring points. So if you happen to have the beggar in your possession because you recruited him in the last round of the game, then you'll score 2 additional points during endgame scoring. Okay, with that introduction in mind, let's have Red again. Red is the last player. We're doing this in reverse turn order. Red was the player who chose the wealthy clan power. So I'm just going to be consistent here and have Red choose the additional 7 mon along with the shopkeeper as well. So now Red has 33 mon, whereas every other player has 12 mon. Next up is the blue player who makes use of other players' annexes, as I recall. So let's, before we choose a favor, let's stop for a moment and take a look at blue's hand of mission cards, or more specifically, let's actually look at one particular mission card so you can get an idea of how these work. So let's look at blue's single green easy mission card. I'm going to zoom in here. This is an assassination mission called Kill the Draper's Son. I think during the 17th century or medieval days, I think a draper was a clothing salesman, but I'm not sure about that. That kind of sounds funny, but it was something like that. Even after a couple of friendly business talks, Hayoshi the draper refuses to pay us protection money. His defiance is intolerable. The man must be taught a lesson, so kill his son. These are treacherous folks we're dealing with. In order to complete this mission, you have to have a disciple at the market district where they will execute this mission, essentially executing the draper's son. And they're going to do so with poison. That is the poison token, the poison weapon token. I was talking about weapons earlier. There are 8 different weapons in the game and 5 tokens for each weapon. So there's a weapons bag consisting of 40 tokens in all. In the case of killing the draper's son, we're going to do so in the market by poisoning him. And if we're able to complete this mission successfully, we will score 1 prestige point, we'll earn 3 mon, and we'll get to draw another mission card to replace this one, because this one will now be a completed mission. Furthermore, if we complete this part of the mission, we might be able to score a bonus. In this case, if we have a second disciple scouting out the tavern district, maybe they were keeping tabs on where the draper's son happened to be in the city, then we will gain an additional 5 mon. But let me stress that you cannot complete the bonus of a mission card unless you complete the top half first. Mission cards all generally work the same way, except they get exceedingly more complicated. For example, if we look at this red mission where we have to kidnap Gonzalez, the black ship's helmsman, you can see that we need to have a disciple in the harbor district and in the tavern district. We need to have poison and 1 geisha and a dojo. And if we have all those elements and we execute the mission, either with the disciple in the harbor district or the disciple in the tavern district, we're going to score 3 prestige points, earn 10 mon, and draw an action card. And as a bonus, if we also have a disciple in the harbor district with some rope in our inventory, then we'll get to draw an additional action card and earn 5 additional mon. Okay, so that gives you a feel for how mission cards work. And now I know that blue, in order to complete that green mission, is going to be in need of poison. So maybe we'll have blue choose the weapons favor. Now, there's no guarantee that blue is going to get poison. They're just going to draw 3 weapons from the bag and hope for the best. And they're also going to gain 3 mon. But if they don't get poison, maybe they'll get something else that they need. As you can see, these other mission cards, this one requires a katana, a Japanese sword, as well as poison and a rope, and fighting claws for the bonus. This one requires poison, as we already saw, and a rope for the bonus. So hopefully we'll get a rope or a katana, or best of all, poison, when we choose this favor. And remember, this favor is also going to provide us with the eminent advisor to the Shogun, who will let us draw 3 mission cards and keep 1. Now, obviously, we wouldn't do that until we had probably had a hand of fewer than 4 mission cards. Because if we used it at the start of the round, well, all we're going to end up having to do is discard back down to 4. All right, let's see what we get. Well, we didn't get poison. We got 2 blowguns and a rope, and we know we need rope for at least one of our missions, but we don't need blowguns, at least not currently. We might need them down the road for some other mission, but for now I'll choose to keep the rope. We can only hold 4 weapons in our inventory at any one time, so throughout the game you're going to find that you'll have to get rid of weapons or trade them away with to another player during what's called the trading phase. Or, just like cards, if you draw a weapon in excess of your limit of 4, then you discard back down to 4. So we're going to keep the rope. And now yellow, let's quickly scan yellow's missions. Here she needs to be in the tavern and needs to have a blessing in order to score the bonus. So maybe to keep this simple, let's just have yellow choose the blessing bonus as well as the beggar. Now, the blessing bonus doesn't provide you with 3 additional mon like the other favors do, but it does provide you with the beggar, who, remember, provides you with 2 mon and lets you gain 2 mon from every other player who might also want a blessing. So we're going to choose the blessing and the beggar. Next, for purple, why don't we see what action cards we draw? So we'll take 3 mon and 3 action cards. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here because some of these may not make sense yet because I haven't gone through the entire game. I'm actually going to have purple hold on to double cross. So this card says that during any phase of the game, you can play this card after another action card was played by any player, including yourself. And this card allows you to take that action card into your hand instead of having it discarded, which is what happens normally when you play an action card. And finally, we're back to the green player, who is going to be drawing 3 bonus cards and keeping 1. I also want to point out that once you take your favor card, you flip it over to its opposite side, where it becomes a blackmail card. During the watch patrol phase, when the watch patrolman might end up arresting one of your disciples, you can use your blackmail card to prevent a disciple from being arrested. But then you have to surrender the blackmail card, and so you really get 1 shot at it. If you don't end up using your blackmail card over the course of the game, it is worth 2 points at the end of the game. Furthermore, because green is the starting player and green is choosing this particular bonus favor, green is determining that the watch patrol is going to start in the castle district, as denoted by this icon in the bottom left corner of the favor card. So whichever card the starting player ends up with, that determines which district the watch patrol starts in. Now, during setup, we flipped a coin to determine whether the watch patrol was going to be gold, in which case it would circle the city in a clockwise direction, or silver, in which case it circles the city in a counterclockwise direction. We'll find that out momentarily once we begin the game. For now, let's draw 3 bonus cards, and what do we got? We got score 5 prestige points if you've completed no espionage missions by the end of the game. This one says if you've completed the most missions among all players, you'll score 5 points in a 4+ player game, which is what we're playing today. We're playing a 5-player game. But if you tie with another player for the most completed missions, you'll only score 2 points, as shown in the parentheses. And then finally, there's this card that says score 6 points if you've completed at least 1 mission in each of the 5 different categories. Remember, those are kidnapping, theft, warfare, assassination, and espionage. I think I'm going to have green go with that one. And finally, we're ready to start the game. Now, here's the watch patrol. It's silver. So silver came up during the flip of the coin during setup, and as you can see, the watch patrol, as we expected, is starting in the castle district. The first phase of the game is a preparation phase during which you prepare for the round, but since we prepared for round 1 during setup, then the preparation phase is skipped during round 1, and we move directly into the bidding phase. In the bidding phase, players can bid for different assets. And in bidding order, which starts out literally as turn order, each player can serve possibly as the auctioneer, choosing an asset to be up for auction. Then each other player in turn order, or in bidding order, I should say, gets to place 1 bid for that asset. Obviously, a particular bid has to be higher than all earlier bids. And then finally, the auctioneer either outbids the highest bidder or lets the highest bidder have the asset at whatever the bid happened to be. The advantage of gaining an asset during the bidding phase as opposed to during gameplay, among other things, is that it doesn't require you to place a disciple to do it. so you don't have to place a worker. So that does increase the value of the asset slightly over what it might otherwise be. Once an asset's been auctioned off, that asset is then off limits for the remainder of that bidding phase. If a player comes into the bidding phase with less than 3 mon, or maybe close to 3 mon, they can choose to egress from the bidding phase entirely and earn 3 mon for their trouble. If you come into the bidding phase with less than 3 mon, you are forced to egress, because as you'll soon see, there's no way you can possibly win an auction. Now, a player can decide later in the bidding phase to egress if they determine that they're not going to end up getting an auction that they want or can't afford an auction that they want. But at that point, you don't earn the additional 3 mon. So you have to decide at the beginning of the bidding phase whether you're going to bow out of that bidding phase. Now, the assets we're bidding on are action cards, draw 3, keep 1. The minimum bid is 3. Bonus cards, draw 3, keep 1. The minimum bid is 3. Weapons, the minimum bid is 3. Again, draw 3 weapons from the bag, keep 1, discard the other 2. Then annexes, in which case the minimum bid is 5. Anytime you take possession of an annex, either during the bidding phase or during normal play, you score 2 prestige points. Then there's geisha with a minimum bid of 5. Geisha have individual point values on them. Since we're playing with all the geisha in this 5-player game, 2 of the geisha have 3 points indicated on them. 3 of the geisha have 2 prestige points shown, and 2 of the geishas have 1 prestige points shown. Clearly, if you're playing a 2, 3, or 4-player game, fewer annexes are in the game and fewer geishas are in the game. For this 5-player game, like I said, we're playing with all 7 geishas. Since there are 5 players and the maximum number of geishas a player can own is 3, not everybody's going to have all the geishas they may possibly want. They may get locked out. Similarly, for this 5-player game, we're starting with 4 of each type of annex. So not every player is going to be able to build every type of annex. When you win a bid for a geisha, you take the geisha with the highest point value. So in this early round, if somebody wins the bid for a geisha, they're going to score 3 prestige points. If you end up buying a geisha later in the red light district, I should say hiring a geisha, then you will take the lowest valued geisha. In that case, you would score 1 prestige point. Over here, during setup, we randomly drew 1 of 9 specialist tokens from the bag. And up for auction is the Onoba geisha, the female samurai. A female samurai who completes a mission may convert 5 mon that you earned during that mission into 1 prestige points. And you could do that multiple times. But beyond that, just having an extra worker, like I said, is a big plus. The minimum bid for that is 3. And finally, you can hold an auction for a mission card, minimum bid of 3. It's not wise to do that during round 1 when every player already has a full hand of 4 mission cards. Okay, so green's first up. Green's at the top of the bidding track over here. And green has to choose which asset they want to put up for auction. Now, remember, green started off with the ninja specialist, so they already have 3 workers, while every other player has only 2. And green is greedy, so green wouldn't mind having a 4th worker. They'd have 2 more workers than every other player. However, green has a couple things to think about. First of all, green only has 15 mon, so the bidding can only go so high. And they also see that red is very wealthy with 33 mon. There's a good possibility that red would win the auction for the Onoba geisha. When this bidding phase is over, the Onoba geisha token is going to move down into the gates district over here in this leftmost spot. And you can then use a disciple in the Gates district later in the round to recruit the Onoba geisha for 7 mon. So we know that the value of Onoba geisha, or this female samurai, is 7 mon plus maybe a couple mon, compensating for the fact that you're not having to make use of a disciple to recruit her. Furthermore, if you take possession of the Onobligation or the specialist token during the bidding phase, you get to use that specialist that round. But if you recruit a specialist in the Gates district, you won't be able to use that specialist until the next round. So maybe the adjusted value of a specialist during the bidding phase is closer to 10, 11, maybe 12 or more mon. Still, green thinks that's a losing proposition for them. So instead, they're going to gamble on holding an auction for an annex. Now, the minimum bid is 5 because that's indicated here. They don't have a choice in that matter. Then every other player in bidding order has an opportunity to outbid the highest bid so far in an effort to grab this annex. Now, normally, building an annex requires that you visit the carpenter in the tavern district, and that costs 11 mon. So the adjusted value here might be closer to 12 or 13 mon, possibly, maybe even more, again, depending upon how badly you felt you needed a particular annex. So purple has to bid 6 or higher to remain in this auction. Let's take a look at purple's missions card. Well, over here, they need a weapons school in order to score the bonus. And down here, they need a sacred garden if they want to score the bonus for this red mission. So they are mildly interested in gaining an annex, especially if they can do so at a bargain basement price. Maybe purple's willing to go as high as 7. So purple will raise the bid to 7, and we'll go with that. And now yellow, if they want to bid on this, they have to bid at least 8. Yellow takes a look at their mission cards. There is a dojo that they need to get the bonus for this mission. Now, on the other hand, yellow was the player who took the blessing, and therefore, right at the moment, only has 12 mon. Since they don't have a desperate need for an annex at this point, maybe they'll hold out for a different asset to bid on, so they're going to pass. Now it's blues. Taking a look at blues missions. Over here, they need a sacred garden. Over here, they need a dojo. So blue is willing to raise the bid, say, to 9. The red player, who is the wealthiest player in our group, let's see, the red player needs a dojo for this mission, needs a mansion for this mission, and needs a sacred garden for the bonus for this mission. So red is very interested. Considering that it costs 11 mon down here to get an annex, I think red's willing to pay 12. Because they're keeping in mind that green only has 15 mon in their possession. So if they want to outbid red, they're going to have to bid 13 of their 15 money, which is going to leave them in somewhat desperate straits. So now it is green's final decision to outbid red or to pass and let red have it for 12 mon. And that is exactly what green's going to do. Green is not going to spend virtually almost all of its money to win this annex. So it is going to pass. Therefore, red is going to spend 12 of its 33 mon, leaving it 21, and now gets to choose one of the 4 annexes. So again, reminding myself, we needed a dojo here, we needed a mansion here, and we needed a secret garden here. This is probably going to be the first mission that one of the first missions that we focus on because it's green. So let's go with the dojo. The other advantage of having a dojo is that it provides you 1 additional mon of income at the start of every subsequent round in which you take it. So we're going to go up here, choose the dojo. That's going to leave only 3 dojos in the supply. And now we have a dojo on red's player board. As you may have noticed, red scored 2 prestige points for taking that annex. Now red moves their bidding marker from the bidding track over to the annex bidding space. And at this point, red's completely out of all the remaining auctions. So now it's just green, purple, yellow, and blue, and green is still at the top of the bidding track, so green once again chooses another asset. Well, they're thinking to themselves, okay, I got the rich guy out of the auction at this point. Now is a better time for me to open the bidding on the Onabegeisha. So the starting bid here is 3. And red has to bid 4 or higher to remain in the auction. Well, red, with only 2 disciples, is definitely very interested. Maybe not so happy that they're bidding early because they don't know exactly where this auction is going to lead. But with 15 mon of the bank, knowing that it costs 7 mon and a disciple to recruit the Onabegeisha later during the round, and having it available for use in round 2, purple's certainly interested in raising this bid. Fortunately, they just don't know how much everybody else is willing to bid for this. Probably a lot, but purple's a little skittish, so they're going to leave it at 8 and go with that and see what happens. Yellow has to bid 9 or higher. Yellow only has 12 mon to her name. She's looking over here and she sees that given the fact that she has her blessing, she's going to easily be able to complete this mission. It's going to require having a disciple in the tavern district, and of course yellow will have to spend her blessing, but it will grant her 1 prestige point and 10 mon. So given that while she only has 12 mon now, she will have 10 mon coming in later, no doubt. She is willing to raise the bid to... She'll raise the bid to 10. Now it's blue's turn. Blue has 15 mon, only 2 disciples at the moment. Blue only has 1 green mission card, and she knows in order to complete that mission and to gain some additional mon, she's going to need some poison. She does see that poison is available in the market at a cost of 6 mon. During setup, 2 weapons were placed randomly in these 2 spots, each costing 6 mon. During the event phase, 3 additional weapons will be drawn from the weapons bag and placed here, and those will cost 8 mon. So given that, I think blue may not want to participate in this bid. I think blue's more interested in getting the poison and then possibly completing this mission. So yeah, I'm going to have blue pass. And once again, we're back to green. So is green willing to pay 11 of her 15 mon? She does have a ninja. What is she looking for? She's looking for fighting claws. Over here, she doesn't have a geisha, so she's more interested in a geisha than she is possibly a specialist. And over here, she needs smoke bombs in order to complete this mission, and an annex for the bonus, which she does not have. See, the trouble is that green's thinking, if I bid 11 for this specialist, I'm going to be left with 4 mon, and then I won't have enough money to afford a weapon, or a geisha for that matter. And if I don't complete a mission in round 1, at least 1 mission in round 1, I'm going to enter round 2 with very little money. So green is actually going to pass and let yellow have the specialist for 10 mon. So yellow moves their bidding token over here. And now green, purple, and blue are remaining. And again, green is at the top of the bidding track. So knowing that green is very interested in finding either fighting claws or smoke bombs, or possibly a bow or shuriken, a throwing star, they'll start the bidding on weapons. The minimum bid is 3. Purple is next. Purple is looking for a katana, possibly a bow and some rope. maybe even a katana and smoke bombs down the road for this red mission. So purple has some interest here. Now the normal cost, as you saw, for purchasing a mission later is to send the disciple to the market, and you have to spend a minimum of 6 or possibly 8, depending upon which weapon you want. Purple's willing to raise the bid to 6. Looking at green and blue, let's go with 5. So now blue has to bid 6 if they're interested. Blue wants poison. Over here wants a katana and rope in addition to poison. So poison's at the top of their list. They know they can get it from the market at 6, but if we get it for 6 now, we won't have to waste a worker. So blue is willing to go with 6, and we'll see what green does. So green needs to bid 7 if they want this auction. They do want fighting claws, they do want smoke bombs possibly, and they're willing to pay an extra mon at this point rather than pay 6 mon and a worker later. So they are going to go with 7. And in fact, they got fighting claws. They got 2 of them and a bow. So they're going to keep one of the fighting claws, and the other weapons will get discarded with the blowguns up there. So green's pretty happy with that. So green has moved their bidding marker over here, and that leaves purple and blue. Now, purple and blue each know that whoever wins this auction is going to let the other player win the final auction at the minimum value, at the minimum bid, because there's nobody else to raise the bid. Purple's at the highest point in the bidding track, and we know that purple is very much interested in a geisha. They want a geisha to complete this mission, and they want a geisha to complete the bonus for this green mission down here. So they're going to open up the bidding on geisha. Now, normally to recruit a geisha in the red light district, it requires that you pay 8 mon or surrender 2 prestige points. And remember, if you win a geisha now, you take the highest valued geisha, so you'll be scoring 3 prestige points. If you recruit a geisha later, you'll take the least valued geisha and score 1 prestige point, presumably. Blue looks at his mission cards and sees that they need a geisha over here. So there's mild interest, but I wouldn't go crazy. On the other hand, blue doesn't want purple to have this at the minimum bid either. Given that it costs 8 mon to recruit a geisha in the red light district, blue is going to raise the bid to 8 and see just how far purple might want to take it. So does purple want it for 9? That would leave her with 6 mon. But given the prevalence of geisha on her mission cards, the fact that she wants one to complete this mission and one to get the bonus for this mission, she is going to agree, and she is going to bid 9 and win the auction for the geisha and score the bonus of 3 prestige points. So she's going to go for it. It's going to leave her with 6 mon. Oh, she is the tenacious. So actually she pays 1 mon less. At this point, blue is the only player left on the bidding track, so whatever auction they're interested in, they will get at the minimum bid. Blue has no bonus cards, has 1 action card, the Enforcer, which says that during the assignment phase, you can play this card when placing a disciple. You may place the disciple in a district fully occupied by disciples. You may not put the disciple in the castle district, however. So, especially with a 5-player game, this card's of some value because you could easily get locked out of a district, especially districts where there are only 3, or even the red light district where there are only 2 action spaces available. Obviously, in fewer player games, many of these action spaces are blocked off to tighten up the board. So blue is going to pay 3 mon to draw 3 action cards and choose one. Before I have blue do that, I just want to indicate that when you're playing a 2- or 3-player game of Yedo, The bidding phase works a little differently. Instead of choosing an asset to bid on, you choose a category. There's a white category involving these 3 assets, the black category that involves these 2 assets, and then there's the red category that encompasses these 2 assets. So you choose a category, then player bid as usual, and then the winner of the bid chooses 1 asset from that category. But that doesn't prevent somebody else from opening up that category for an auction later in the bidding phase. Okay, so we're going to go for action cards for blue. And we have Heart of the Dragon, we have Fast as Lightning, and we have Returning Armies. And again, without dwelling on these 3 cards, I'm going to go with Fast as Lightning. Play this card right before you activate a Disciple in a district. The Disciple may take 2 actions. These actions may be the same or different. Completing a mission is also considered an action, but it has to be the second of the 2 actions. You can't complete a mission as part of the first action. So we're going to go with Fast as Lightning. We only had to pay 3 mon for that. And now we're into the event phase. So the bidding phase is complete. All players' bidding markers are no longer in the bidding track, but instead have been assigned to asset spaces. So as I already indicated, during the event phase, additional weapons are drawn to fill out the market. So now we've got 2 smoke bombs out there. We've got a katana and a bow and the poison we saw earlier. This smoke bomb and this poison only cost 6 mon, while these cost 8. But because red has the shopkeeper character, he can choose to use that card right now if he wants to draw 3 weapons, choose 1, and adding the rest to the market. Remember, if red decides not to use the character at this point, I'll have to trade it in for a bonus card at the beginning of the next round. Red is interested in weapons. Red wants a rope. Red wants a bow over here. Red wants a katana over here. So they're interested. Let's draw 3 and see what we got. We got 2 smoke bombs and we got a bow. Among those choices, I think we're going to take the bow. And that leaves the market full of smoke bombs. Next, we draw an event card and resolve it. The event card that we got says wanted. Shady figures are wanted by the watch patrol. Everyone is considered a suspect. Business is poor. The Teahouse is closed for this round. When playing without the Teahouse module, which of course we are playing with the Teahouse module, you would otherwise ignore this event and draw a new one immediately. So we're playing with the Teahouse module, but not for round 1, not during round 1, because it's been closed temporarily. So we'll set that aside. And now we're into the assignment phase, where players, starting with the start player and in turn order, take turns placing 1 disciple in a district in an effort to line up their missions. Before I go any further, let me talk briefly about the watch patrol. Remember, the watch patrol is currently silver and moves in a counterclockwise direction. So during the watch patrol phase, what's going to happen is that the watch patrol is going to move from the castle district to the temple district. Then each player in turn order is going to have the opportunity to spend 1 action card that pertains to the watch patrol that might affect the way the watch patrol moves. Then, wherever the watch patrol might end up, each player can then, again in turn order, play 1 action card to possibly prevent a disciple from being arrested. Finally, wherever the watch patrol happens to be, if there are any disciples remaining there, the watch patrol is going to arrest them and send them to the reserve. However, players can never have fewer than the 2 disciples they started with, nor can they ever have more than 4 disciples and or specialists. However, there are exceptions to that rule. There might be times when you can have a 5th disciple in your corner. And remember, players also have in their possession right now their blackmail card, which is their last resort, so to speak, to help prevent a disciple from being arrested. But for the moment, we know we might want to avoid the Temple District. Before green takes its turn, green has an action card here. We should probably check it out. It says Friendly Neighbors. Any phase, everybody helped with the rice harvest received 5 mon. All of their players received 2 mon. Well, okay, green's going to not pass up that, so green is going to play that action card and take 5 mon, letting every other player take 2. Well, we've got an action card alert because purple is holding double cross. Remember, double cross can be played when another player plays an action card that allows you to take that action card into your hand. Is this action card valuable enough for purple to take it? Well, purple's going to get 2 mon right now from the card. So they're going to go from 7 to 9 mon. And then if they take the card and play it themselves, they'll get an additional 5. So they're effectively doubling their mon from 7 to 14. That's not a bad return. Purple's going to go for it. Purple is going to play double cross. Instead of the card being discarded, it's going to end up in purple's possession. So everybody's getting their 2 or 5 mon. So as you can see, purple has ended up with the Friendly Neighbors action card, and what the heck, they're just going to play it and get it out of the way right now. Finally, we're back to the green player in the assignment phase, and I think now we're ready to finally assign a disciple someplace. Remember, green has 3 workers available to them. The ninja specialist's special ability is that it can never be arrested, so if green decides that it wants to go to the Temple District, it's going to use, she is going to use her ninja to do so. She knows she has her fighting clause, so she's good for completing this mission. She doesn't have the blessing, however, in order to complete the bonus. But she knows that a player ended up with the beggar, so she is going to turn to the player with the beggar, which is Yellow, and say, Yellow, are you interested in playing your beggar character right now? Because I'm interested in taking a blessing and paying you 2 mon for it. Yellow thinks for a second and says, sure. So they'll take 2 mon for playing the beggar. And now in turn order, every other player can pay Yellow 2 mon to be blessed. That's actually a pretty good price, because otherwise it costs you a disciple to send to the Temple District to get a blessing. And remember, the Temple District is a dangerous place to be in this particular round. So blue says, yes, I'll pay you 2 mon. Red agrees and pays 2. Green says, sure, I'll pay you 2. And finally, purple says, sure, oh, I'll pay you 1 because I'm the tenacious. Still, yellow did okay. Yellow scored a nice 9 mon for that beggar character. Okay, so now green's happy. Green knows that they've got what they need to complete this mission. They just need to have a disciple in the Harbor District in order to complete it. However, green is somewhat tempted to put a disciple in the Gates District to have the opportunity to recruit an Onabegeisha. Now, in round 2, when another specialist comes down from the bidding area down here, the Onabegeisha is going to slide to the right. And then in round 3, the Onabegeisha is going to slide off and be gone. There is another token, however, that features the Onabegeisha on it, so all is not lost if you're particularly interested in getting an Onabegeisha. Let's take a closer look at this mission of greens. This is steal the collection box from the church. It's a theft. The predictions have come true. The Catholic Church is gaining far too much influence in Yedo. It makes them feel as if their position were unassailable, a painful mistake. Steal the collection box from their church, preferably in broad daylight. That should make them change their tune. So you have to have an agent or a disciple in the Harbor District. You have to have fighting claws to scare off the altar boy, I suppose. and you will score 1 prestige point, gain 3 mon, and take all the mon that's in the church. So at the start of the game during setup, the church was funded with 3 mon from the supply. The church coffer was filled. In every subsequent round, if the church coffer is empty, 3 mon is going to be placed there, but if the church coffer is not empty, only 1 mon will be added to it. Any player can decide to go to the harbor district and perform the take the money from the church action to get a few extra mon. The bonus for this mission card is to spend your blessing to score 1 additional prestige point and 5 additional mon. So this mission for green is worth 11 mon and 2 prestige points, which is a pretty good return in the first round of the game for a green mission. So green is very keenly interested in sending a disciple to the harbor. Now they are thinking to themselves, maybe I want to go to the Gates district because that's going to be a popular place because everybody's going to want to get an Onabegeisha, and maybe I want an Onabegeisha as well, and perhaps I should send a disciple there first to reserve a space. Green doesn't want to be too greedy at this point, so it is just going to simply take one of her disciples and send it into the harbor. I'm going to turn off auto hide here. What auto hide does is if I move my mouse over here or over here, it hides the mission card so you can see what's going on, but it creates too much flicker for my screen recording tool, so I'm just going to turn it off for now. Now it's Purple's turn with only 2 disciples. They very much want to go to the Gates district and get a female samurai, so that's where they're going to go. Yellow's turn. Now Yellow already has an Onabegeisha, having won it during the auction, and you cannot possess 2 of the same specialist. So there's no point in Yellow going to the Gates district, except for the fact that Yellow has a mission here. Looking at her other green mission cards, here she needs to be at the tavern, and here she needs to be at the market, and possibly have somebody else at the tavern. So there are some nice synergies here among these various mission cards. So with 3 workers at her disposal, Yellow figures that she can complete, maybe not every bonus, but certainly complete the majority of these mission cards if her luck holds out. So she is going to take one of her disciples and reserve a space in the Gates district before it gets filled up. It's Blue's turn, gets an action card alert. That's due to the Enforcer. Remember, during the assignment phase, you can use this card to avoid getting locked out of a location. That's currently not a problem for Blue, so Blue is not going to bother using that card at this moment. Blue only has 2 disciples, definitely wants an Onabegeisha as well. So Blue is going to send a disciple to the Gates district, and all of a sudden the Gates district is filled up. It's now Red's turn. Red only has 2 disciples, and Red is not happy. Red is last in turn order. Being last place in a 5-player game is not great. So Red is thinking to himself that he wants to place one of his disciples in the Bower, in the Castle District. The Castle District is different from all other districts in the sense that the different action spaces do different things. You can go to this particular action space if you want to score 1 prestige point, simple as that. You go to one of these 2 action spaces if you want to visit the Bakufu and take another mission. Or you go to one of these 3 spaces in the Bower to change the turn order. Does Red want to go there first, or where else would they want to go with their other disciple? Here they need to be in the castle, have some rope. That's not going to happen. Here they need to be in the tavern, and they have their bow, so this mission is very much possible. So Red has to decide, do they go to the tavern first, or do they go to the castle, to the Bower first? Well, not everybody's going to be interested in changing turn order, so Red's going to take a shot and go to the tavern district first. Now we're back to the top of the turn order. Green is placing next. Remember, green earlier placed in the harbor district with the intent of completing this mission. If they have a geisha, they can get 10 mon by being in the tavern with this mission. They are not in the Gates district, and they don't have smoke bombs. This happens to be a mission from the Specialists set. Let's take a closer look at it. It says distraction and fast fingers. Proving your worth to your clan master takes dexterity, initiative, and a quick mind. Demonstrate these skills by stealing a weapon on the market without anyone noticing. You have to be in the market. You have to have smoke bombs to create a distraction. And if you complete the mission, you surrender your disciple and automatically turn it into a monk. For a bonus, if you also happen to have a sacred garden, you gain an additional 3 mon, and you get to draw a weapon at random from the market. For now, she knows she can get an easy nickel at the tavern, so she is going to place a disciple in the tavern. Purple, with their 1 remaining worker, can use this mission card in the tavern. This says, obtain the tavern's guest book. One of the innkeeper Sato's competitors is willing to pay us a nice sum if we can provide him with the list of the tavern's most frequent guests. This is why we need the tavern's guest book. Get it. So you have to have a disciple in the tavern. You have to pay 1 mon up front. And if you do, you will net 7 mon. So that a net of 6 mon. And for a bonus, if you happen to have a geisha, which purple does, you'll gain an additional 5 mon. So this is clearly in purple's interest, so they are going to take the last remaining space in the tavern district. Now we're back to yellow. Oh yeah, just like that, the tavern district is now locked out. So that changes yellow's... Oh, wait a second. Yellow's got an action card here. Feint. Any phase, move your disciple from one district to a free and accessible space in any other district. Wow, a perfect time to have that action card. Perfect timing. So now they know they're not locked out of the tavern. They can get somebody in there later. Yellow's already placed in the Gates district, so I think we're going to place in the market. Yeah, we're going to take a disciple. We're going to place it in the market district. Or do I want to use my own geisha up there? Well, this pays 6 mon. The geisha could potentially convert 5 of that 6 to 1 prestige point. But if I move the geisha to the tavern and gain 10 mon, I have the opportunity to convert 10 mon into 2 prestige points. So I think I'm going to move a disciple to the market. Again, blue's getting the action card alert. Blue wants to go to the market, but doesn't have poison. At the very least, she can use the disciple to buy the poison and worry about completing the mission at a later point. Oh, wait. No. Blue has that. Remember, blue has fast as lightning, so blue can use that disciple to complete 2 actions. So definitely blue is going to go to the market with their disciple. They'll use the first action to buy poison, and then for their second action, they'll complete that first mission card. So let's get out of the alert and place our disciple in the market. Red has 1 disciple left. Red wanted to go to the bower, so they're going to place their disciple there. Green has her ninja left. What does she want to do? She can go to the red light district and hire a geisha here to gain an additional 5 mon. or can go to the carpenter, but this she doesn't see, she's not going to be completing this mission. She's going to be completing these two. She's got everything she needs for this. She needs a geisha to complete the bonus for this. So she is going to go to the red light district with her ninja and place in one of the two spaces there. Yellow has her own geisha remaining, and Yellow wanted to use her feint card to get into the tavern, so that means she wants to temporarily park her own geisha someplace else. She'll park it in the harbor for now. Now it's the watch patrol phase. The watch patrol move as expected into the temple district, and nobody's disciples at risk of being arrested. Now we move into the trading phase. This is phase 6 of the 7 phases that make up a round. And during the trading phase, players in the market can trade with one another. So in this case, yellow and blue can trade with each other. And players in the tavern can trade with one another. So red and green and purple can trade with one another. Now, as far as the trading phase is concerned, all trades have to be made openly. You can't trade in secret. If you're trading cards, you can't talk about the details of the card. You can't say, hey, I've got this mission named such and such, and that requires you to be here and there and the other. But you can simply say, hey, I got this mission card I think you can make use of. Or you can say, I've got this great action card I think you can use, or this bonus card which I think you'd appreciate. Otherwise, everything else is out in the open. Weapons and money, and you cannot trade annexes. You can't trade blessings. You cannot trade disciples, and you cannot trade completed mission cards, but everything else is open for business. My program would have alerted me if it saw that one player had something that they didn't need that another player needed. And I didn't get a message of that sort. It is round 1, of course. Players don't have that much stuff in their possession at this point, so nobody's going to be trading at this moment. For now, I'm going to continue into the action phase. So again, we're starting with the green player at the top of the turn order track. What did green want to do? Green wanted to hire a geisha. Green wanted to complete that mission. And green wanted to complete a mission in the tavern. This mission requires the geisha. This mission is ready to go. It doesn't require anything. But I don't think there's any hurry here, so I think we've got the money we need. We're just going to go to the we're going to go to the ninja in the red light district and recruit a geisha for 8 mon. Other things you can do in the red light district are obviously complete a mission. You can also pay 4 mon in order to buy an action card. In addition, anytime you select a disciple for an action, you can recruit a character from the Teahouse, assuming you don't already have one on deck. But the Teahouse is closed this round, so that's not an option for us. I want to recruit a geisha for 8 mon. And turn it over to purple. Purple wanted the specialist in the Gates district and wanted to complete the mission in the tavern district, this particular mission, which I'm going to drag up here. I don't think it matters which they do first, so purple is going to select their disciple in the Gates district and recruit the Onabe geisha for 7 mon. Other things you could do here are convert prestige points into money. If you're short on money, you can pay 1 prestige point for 3 mon or 2 prestige points for 5 mon. You can also perform a foresight action on action cards. A foresight action allows you to draw the top 3 cards of a particular deck or from the weapons bag, take a look at them, and then return them in any order you want, presumably because you plan to take the top one in a subsequent step, and you want to make sure you get the one that you're most interested in. If you perform a foresight action on weapons, obviously you don't return them in any order you want to the bag. You place them in a stack next to the bag so that if there are weapons in that stack, you draw there first, and then you draw from the bag. At this point, Purple simply wants to recruit a specialist, and she gets her Onobegeisha. And she was the Tenacious, so she only had to spend 6 mon. Okay, moving on to Yellow. Yellow also wants an Onobegeisha in the Gates district. Yellow also wants to go to the market. So this one's, let's see, what we're going to do first. If we do this one first, then we slide into the gate, then we slide into the tavern. I think this is the order we want to do it. So we'll do this, we'll complete this mission first. Now clearly we don't have the smoke bomb, so we're not going to get the bonus, but we are going to gain 5 mon. So we're going to choose this disciple. We are going to complete this mission. And the disciple comes home. Blue's turn. So Blue is getting the action card alert now for Fast as Lightning. Blue did want an Onobegeisha. I think that's what Blue's going to do first. They're going to hold off on this action card and use this disciple to recruit the Onobegeisha for 7 mon. Now it's Red's turn. Red wanted to complete the mission in the tavern, which was this one with her bow. And she wanted to change the turn order. We'll just complete the tavern mission first. So we'll go here, and this is going to produce 8 mon and 1 prestige point. This is learn when the Shogun will be off hunting. Ryuichi, one of the Shogun's servants, claims to have some important information he wants to sell us. However, he only wants to meet us when his master is absent. Try and find out when the Shogun will go hunting so we can contact Ryuichi without his master's knowledge. Be in the tavern district, gain 5 mon, have a bow, and gain an additional 3 mon and a prestige point. Done. Now it's Green's turn. Green is in the Harbor District and in the Tavern District. I don't think the order of these matter. She will fulfill the one at the church first, so she'll go to the Harbor District. Remember, this was going to net her 11 mon, take the money out of the coffer from the church, and she's going to score 2 points. Purple's turn. Purple has 1 disciple left at the tavern to complete this mission. That's going to net them 7 mon and an additional 5 mon for a total of 12. And actually, Purple is the Tenacious, so Purple will not have to pay this 1 mon. So she's going to actually get an extra mon out of this mission. She goes from 7 up to 19. Yellow's turn. Okay, well, we know we want to use Feint to get the Onobegeisha into the Tavern District, so let's do that now. Okay, that's done. Now we want to choose this disciple in the market to perform this mission. Learn how the stalls will be arranged in the market. We suspect that Boriaki, the official in charge of the market, takes bribes from one of our rivals. For some weeks now, he's been assigning the best places invariably to the same small group of merchants. Try and find out if he will do so again next week. Be in the market, gain 5 mon. Also be in the tavern, gain an additional 1 mon and a mission card of your choice to replace this one that's being completed. So we are going to complete this mission. We choose the deck that we want to draw from. So we have a green mission and a yellow mission. You don't want to focus too much on green mission. So you really want to have some goals to work toward as far as, so I think I'm going to go with the yellow mission deck here. Oh, and yellow is the wise and gets to choose from 3 cards. So here they need, a slew of different weapons and a ninja or a monk. So this is also from the specialist set of mission cards. There's this one. This is from the Money Maker set. You need a bunch of money. You need a bunch of different weapons and a blessing, and you can gain, what is that, 14 mon, 2 points, and a bonus card. And this one says you have to have a bow, spend your blessing, be in the temple, have some poison, and you can get a total of 11 mon and 2 points. I think we'll go with that one. That'll end yellow's turn. Again, blue's getting the alert. Now blue only has 1 disciple left, and they do want to use fast as lightning, so we're going to select that. We're going to select this disciple. And for the first action, remember we wanted to buy poison. So we're going to buy a weapon. We're going to buy this poison for 6 mon. We're down to 1 mon. And now for our second action, we can now complete this mission. Unfortunately, we're not in the tavern, so we're not going to score the bonus of 5, but we will get a point, 3 mon, and a mission card. Blue's not thrilled. Blue doesn't have as much money here as he would have hoped going into the next round. For a mission card, Blue is thinking maybe they need some money. So maybe Blue should take a green mission card, an easy one to complete, and hope it pays off pretty well. Let's go with that, I think. So you have to be in the temple. You have to have a katana. You'll get 8 mon and a point out of it. Let's move that to the top of our list for the moment. And maybe there's some synergy here, so let's move that up there. And these are all harder missions to complete. So still, that was a pretty good turn. Now it's Red's turn. Red wanted to change turn order. Now the Bower gets resolved differently than every other action space. When you are the first player to resolve an action in the Bower, all of the disciples of the Bower will get resolved at that point in Bower order. So for example, if Blue had also come here to change turn order and was in the second position with a disciple, but Red activated their disciple first, then Red gets first choice of which turn they want, which turn order position they want. Blue would get the second choice of which turn order position they would want, and then all other players get placed in relative turn order below them. At this point, it's only Red. So Red is going to change the turn order at the castle, and obviously wants to go from last place to first place, forcing green into second place, purple into third, and so forth. Green has 1 remaining disciple in the tavern. Ready to complete this mission. They've got their geisha. They're going to gain 10 mon to take them up from 16 to 26. Other things you can do in the tavern district is build an annex for 11 mon. Remember, you score an additional 2 points when you do that. You can foresight the weapons. Draw 3 weapons from the bag and place them in a stack in any order of your choosing. And of course, you can also recruit a character from the tea house if the tea house were open. We are going to complete this mission. Takes us up to 26 mon, and we'll end our turn. Okay, yellow has 1 more disciple left in the tower district, the Onabegeisha. Ready to complete this mission. This is going to score us 10 mon and 1 prestige point. It's going to cost us our blessing. This is steal the key to the wine cellar. A number of clients accuse Yedo, the innkeeper, of watering down his sake. Unfortunately, he keeps his sake supply under lock and key, which makes it difficult to look into the matter. There is but one way to find out. Steal the key to Yedo's wine cellar. Be in the tavern, gain 5 mon, also spend your blessing, and gain an additional 5 mon and score 1 prestige point. Yes, we are going to surrender the blessing in order to score the bonus. And because we used our own geisha, we can take the 10 mon that we just earned from this mission and convert it into 2 prestige points if we wanted to. We are currently at 2 prestige points, while most players at this point have 4, and we've got 36 mon, so after spending 10 of it, we'll still have 26, which is pretty good. I think I am going to convert 10 mon that we just earned into 2 prestige points. And that is now the end of the action phase, and I am being reminded that certain players have not yet used their character. So Blue has the eminent advisor to the Shogun, allowing you to draw 3 mission cards and keep 1. And Blue has a full set of 4 mission cards. They don't have a bonus card, so I don't think they are going to use their mission card. They are going to take a bonus card in exchange for it in the next round. Next up, there's Green. Green has the Shogun. So the Shogun scores you 1 prestige point. And if you have a geisha and a mansion, which Green does not, you get an additional prestige point. If you have a blessing and a Karen Sansui, which is a sacred garden, you get another prestige point. And if you have 3 geishas, you get another prestige point. So obviously this is more valuable later in the game when you have more assets to your name. But I can use it now to get 1 prestige point and bring me up to 5. I do have 1 bonus card already, so I think I am going to go for that point, and I'm going to take the lead with 5 points. And then the other player was Purple. Purple had Geisha Natsuku, which they never ended up using, to get a discount at the market or a discount at the carpenter. Purple never went to the market and never went to the carpenter to build an annex. So we could discard this for a bonus card. I think that's what Purple's going to do. So that will end the round. Then we're going to go right into round 2 in the preparation phase. All of the tokens on the asset spaces are returned to the bidding track in turn order. Money is added to the church. In this case, since the church coffer is empty, we're going to add 3 mon to the church. Every player with a dojo is going to earn 1 mon. I think at least 1 player bought a dojo. Who was that? Oh, it was during the bidding phase that Red took it. So Red's going to get a mon for that. Unused characters are converted into bonus cards, as I said. And a new specialist token is going to be drawn and placed in the bidding space up here in the top right-hand corner. So let's end the turn and run the preparation phase and see where we stand at the beginning of the round. So now there is a weaponsmith up in the top right-hand corner of the board. The weaponsmith's special ability is that it lets you have up to 5 weapons in your possession instead of 4. I think I'm going to end the video now. We're at the beginning of the bidding phase here in round 2. I'm going to stop. I will consider recording another round of play in a subsequent video. For now, if you have any questions or you saw anything that my program did that might have been questionable, please let me know in the show notes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.